Today we're going to be looking at measurement and the units that we use for measurement. Some of you are familiar with using metric system, whereas some of you are still comfortable using the English system, such as foot, etc. Today I'm going to introduce you to the metric system, as well as the common prefixes that we'll be using to determine relative side. Let's take a look. Measurement. What are the units of measurement? In science, there are several terms that are used to describe measurement. All depends on what you're measuring. In science, the metric system is used for several reasons. 1, it makes it easy to convert from large amounts to small amounts. 2, it's universally accepted in being able to measure, and most scientific equipment is based on this. Because science can be so exact, we need to be able to describe what we're measuring in exact terms. Terms for length. We use the meter, m, when talking about length. 1 meter is about 3 feet. A common tool for measuring length is a ruler or meter stick. The meter stick is the equivalent of 1 meter, so not the little lines, but the entire stick. Terms for weight. For weight, we use grams. A gram is less than 0.0003 of a pound. Grams focus on how much something is made of something. In other words, how much stuff is in it. It used to be calculated by weights on a scale. However, now we will be using electronic scales to get accurate measure of how much matter or stuff is in something. Terms for volume. How much space something takes up. For volume, we use liters. A liter is little less than a gallon. Volume is how much space is taken up by an object. We often equate this with liter water bottles, which are quite large. There will be other little tricks I will show you later on how to measure volume of solids. Temperature. To measure temperature, we use Celsius. Celsius equals Fahrenheit degrees minus 32 times 5/9. The typical tool we use to measure temperature is a thermometer. Always make sure, though, that you're using the Celsius side, not the Fahrenheit side. Time. We always use seconds when recording time. The typical tool we will use is a stopwatch. How do we tell relative side? It is very difficult to write 1,000,000 grams. Instead, we use prefixes to determine relative size. The prefix goes at the beginning of the word. Here are some of the common prefixes we will be using. Largest to smallest. The first is kilo. It's 1,000 times larger than a base unit. 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. In this picture here, the smallest weight on the left represents 1 gram, with the largest weight on the right being 1,000 grams or 1 kilogram. Centi is 1/100th smaller than base unit. 1 centimeter equals 0.01 meters. As you can see by the end of this meter stick, while the entire stick is 1 meter, the numbers on the marks represent 1 centimeter. The little tiny numbers represent milli, which we will see next. Milli, 1/1000th smaller than base unit. 1 milliliter equals 0.001 of a liter. When using a graduated cylinder, the numbers on the side represent milliliters, which is an effective term for measuring volume. Tips. In terms of size, it goes milli, centi, to the base unit, and then kilo. There are other terms that can be used, but we will not use them in this class.